back. All right, we're at welcome to Gab and Jam, episode 235.
Yeah, and what are we talking about today?
Okay, so the world news is a little nutty, just everywhere. There's the war going on, there are mass shootings everywhere. Our topic today is how not to let news discourage you, and that's for the D.I.Y rockstar. As business owners, as an artist, you want to maintain the top mindset, mental health wise, in order for you. Again, we were talking the last episode about you needing to take care of some business, like running ads and figuring out the direction for because I mean, you are running a business. I mean, I know it's your passion, it's your love, but if you're out here trying to attract fans, trying to sell your music, you are running a business. Yeah. And so I ended up reading an email by Ruth Sukup from the Do It Scared podcast, and her email reminded me that sometimes we need to give some suggestions for how not to let all the stuff that's happening in the world mess up your mindset so that you can focus on what you need to do.
Yeah, and especially with the crippling inflation.
Yeah, so again,
that definitely could be
there's
really
so many things, right? There's so many things right now that it is hard. So let's go down her 5 suggestions, and then we've added 3 more. We're gonna some of these are common sense, but the first suggestion she has for you in order to protect your mindset and not let news discourage you is to limit the noise. Her point was to remember that news media, they make money. The more clicks, the more views, and a lot of times it's the bad news that they feature first. Yeah,
and especially now, I mean, our media is so divided. You know, left and
right.
So
you got all that
on which
going
side
on.
that you're listening to, but either side, it just can, because if you listen to right wing, then you're hearing about all the horrible things these leftists are doing, and if you're listening to the left-wing stuff, you're hearing about all these horrible things that the conservatives are doing. So sometimes, you do need to kind of just get away from it, and just get away from your echo chamber. So.
And just get away from that altogether for a minute. So you have control over turning that off. So that's and I know we've said that in our health and wellness, the blogmas, but just remember you can turn it off. You don't have to listen to it.
I think I've actually stopped. Period. It's like I really, other than like our local news, that kind of gives you that overview. It's I've just really kind of tuned out just both CNN and Fox and MSNBC and all that. Just let all that stuff go.
And we have some other thoughts on that, but that's a different rabbit hole. Her second suggestion for how not to let the news discourage you is to get outdoors, and she cites all these studies about the benefits of getting outside, the vitamin D, improving the immune function, better sleep, more creativity, all this stuff. And we found that too, that definitely during the pandemic, having that midday walk.
Do that, especially if you're a person that's working from home. Your day job or whatever it might be. That I think it becomes more imperative to do that. Try to figure out, especially now, you can do more to get more social interaction. So figure out ways to kind of allow yourself to do that. Maybe sometimes, instead of just working from home, maybe going to a library, doing something where you kind of get out, get about, and kind of feel the presence of other people.
We kind of got that down, coming soon. But
I think that social interaction aspect helps, even if it's not direct interaction, but just kind of feeling the vibes of other people in the room.
I like that. All right, her third suggestion in order to not let bad news discourage you is to set micro goals that for some of us, sometimes looking at the entire picture of what you need to cover is overwhelming, and that's on top of the inflation about how much you're spending and whatever else. But to focus on small manageable things, I know we've talked about that before, setting your daily 3. I think even Amy Porterfield talks about that, where hey, I really have a million things to do, but today it's kind of that tortoise and hare thing, where actually if you only get 1 to 3 goals done per day, you get way more done than if you get overwhelmed and don't do anything.
That's true.
So, and then that'll help you feel better, and your mindset will be just that much more ready to tackle whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then back to your point, number 4 for her list of how not to let bad news discourage you is to socialize more often. And that's what she was saying, is that, you know, if you haven't called a friend in a while, call them, but then also invite them out for coffee so you can actually get out.
And talk to people. Because sometimes even interaction on social media, it's bad too. Because people become something different. Interacting. Because there's a certain amount of anonymity that people have on social media so they can be something else. Whereas when you're actually interacting with people in person, you know, sometimes you'll even notice that when you get people from the left and the right who are actually talking to one another in the same room,
you realize
that they can actually find some common ground. You know, that if you're just looking at social media, you're just looking at whatever, it just seems like, no, there's no common ground. And so again, that's why I think that social interaction, I think it's just tougher to be an asshole to a person
that you're looking at face to face.
That is a person that's, you know, out in the ether someplace.
Yeah, somebody did say that to me. I said I gave a nice comment or something to an ad that was on Instagram, and somebody replied like you know, or you're getting paid. And I'm like, no, I'm just a person. I just happen to swipe up. I liked whatever it was, and I put nice or something, and you know, and then they had to come back and apologize. But like you said, they probably would have been less likely to do that.
Yeah, right. If you had just passed an advertisement and said, "Oh, this was really nice," you know, this is, they probably wouldn't have said, "No, so are you being paid to say this?" You know, no, they wouldn't have thought that. So again, I mean, there's that aspect of it, you know, and again, it's so easy to just kind of rag on social media and rag on the virtual environment. I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is that outside of those relationships, which I think you can get good and deep relationships through social media and virtually, that there is a real world. There's this three-dimensional world
that was here long before,
that you also can interact with and have great, fruitful relationships.
And that is healthy. It actually it helps your mental health and your physical health.
We need all of it. We need all of it.
We need to be buoyed so that we can do the things we need to do. Her 5th suggestion is, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but we feel greatly that, you know, you rely on a higher power. That even though there's evil in the world, you know that there's somebody out there who probably wants the best life for you. And so, you know, bad things do happen to good people, but that shouldn't be our focus. And I guess kind of that and putting it in whoever you believe in's hands. And saying, okay, there's some things I can't worry about that. That's beyond my pay grade, and I'm just gonna worry about living the best life I can live right now.
And if you are an atheist, just the whole fact that the human condition is more than just bad stuff. There's also good stuff. And so sometimes you can just choose that I'm gonna focus on the good stuff.
I like that. You know, diversity here.
It's always like, because I think for every generation, the world always seems like it's on the verge of
oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to skip down to our list, and that was what I was going to close with, is the world has been ending ever since man has...
every generation. I mean, can you imagine what people going through during the period of World War II?
You know what
I mean? Or, you know, then you just had a World War before that, and then... After that World War, you got the 20s, and then you got the Depression. And then you go into another war. I mean... thinking, what the hell? You know, so, I mean, again, I mean, it's always going to seem that, but it's worse than that. No.
But that reminds me, and I know Men in Black is fictitious, but that reminds me of the whole Men in Black thing where he says, you know, there's always a threat.
There's always something.
To the world. Like, we don't want the people of the world to be thinking about that. So I guess protecting their mental health so that they can do what they need to do, we're protecting our own mental health by saying that it is what it is.
It's realistic. We were going through it in the 70s. We were going through it, you know, every time you think it could get no worse, it gets worse. You know, or when you think it's not going to get any better, it gets better. You know, I mean, it's like that. There's peaks and valleys. There's ebbs and flows. That's just the way that the world runs.
But not cycling down thinking that, oh my God, it's all over. You know, or it's ending. That's not healthy. So that was what I was going to end with. All right. But our other 2 suggestions, one of the big ones for us is create something in response. So either you can channel either the sadness, you can channel the negativity. We've done all of that. Or sometimes with like the song that we're probably going to be releasing very soon, channel the uplifting answer.
Yeah.
So to me as an artist, or just forget about it all together and party. I'm sorry, there's a place for all of that.
You can do that. And I know people are talking about that with Dua Lipa, that you know, she basically released this disco album in the middle of a pandemic. And they were saying, well, how come it did so well? I mean, you know, it was a very well produced record. And, you know, they definitely had good hooks on the stuff. But, you know, also, I think people wanted to have that levity. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I really enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed Kylie Minogue's album. It's the same type of thing, disco record. It was nice, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I do think that all music has a place. Yeah. You know, and I think that regardless of what's going on. Yeah. And that's the great part of being an artist, is that it's still a certain way of, you know, sucking people into, I guess, your world. Yeah. For whatever it might be. Yeah. And, you know, that's kind of the gift that artists, you know, gives to humanity. Yeah. Is that ability to do that. So.
I like that. And then finally, something you mentioned before, but what I know I do is do a check-in every now and again with the news, just to see, to make sure there's nothing happening on our doorsteps or anything that we need to know about. But check in and then turn it off. So
I mean, you just check in to find out.
Long enough. News, weather, traffic. Big, hey, we know the war's still going. We know.
You know what's going on. What's the mass shooting this week?
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
I mean,
how many people?
Right.
You know, where did it happen?
Right.
You know,
and then pray for the people. And then again, so you do need to check in. I'm not the person that says turn off all the news. Right. There are some people who say that. I say don't do that, but you do need to you know, to decide how much of it you're going to take in.
And to that end, you know, regardless of where you fall at on the spectrum of these things, I think too, with all these different things happening, that means that there's all these causes. There's all these things to channel if you feel like, hey, but I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference with respect to gun violence. Wherever you find I want to make a difference with the war in Ukraine. I want to make a difference with this. But there's also room for that. And as an artist to be a part of that. You know, just like in the 60s they were a part of ending the Vietnam War or whatever it might be.
That you have agency. I like
that. Always that aspect of it. Or if it's just like, hey, you know, I just want to be an anarchist. I want to just blow everything up. Yeah. There was the Sex Pistols and stuff like that happened during the 70s. So there's always that room for you as an artist to adopt whatever the cause is that you want to champion.
I love it.
So that's the other part.
I love it. All right, what do you guys think? If you're struggling, what do you do in order to make sure you pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and remain focused on your goals at hand? We'd love to know about it because we like new suggestions. And what else?
And as usual, as we talked about before, Sugarfit, you can stream it anywhere. It's on Bandcamp. You can get the CD from CD Baby.
And we have ringtones for each of the 15 songs on Sugarfit. Yes. Make sure you click the link below so you can have that very special ringtone for your phone.
All right.
And if you dig the vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.